Welcome to XM.com for this Forex Preview video. I'm Cristina Marujos, and joining me today is investment analyst Mario Hadjikyriacos. We'll be having a look at U.S. durable goods orders on Thursday and, of course, market PMIs for October. But it appears that this data will not essentially change the narrative regarding the Fed or the dollar. So before we look into that, what do you think we'll see in the figures on Thursday?
Well, if we look at the forecasts, durable goods are expected to have declined. Now, remember, this is a proxy for capital expenditure, meaning investment by companies. They're expected to have declined, but this is a very volatile indicator from month to month, so I don't think the markets will really focus on that. Instead, I think more attention will fall on the market PMIs. They will provide the first glimpse into how the economy entered the fourth quarter, and specifically into whether the weakness we've seen in manufacturing continues to spread to the much larger services sector.
Now, let's turn to the Fed, because markets are convinced we're going to see another rate cut at its October meeting. They've even assigned a 90% probability to that. So what do you think? Will we see a 25 basis points rate cut next week by the Fed?
Most definitely. So the market is certain a rate cut is coming, and the Fed has a habit of not disappointing the market. Now, what I find especially interesting about this is that the markets still expect a rate cut despite the US and China reaching a ceasefire in their trade war recently. So my point is, imagine what the narrative would have been if we didn't get that truce. Now, nevertheless, the market is essentially saying that that trade ceasefire doesn't mean all that much in the bigger picture. So I think a rate cut is a done deal, especially since the recent Fed speakers we've heard from didn't attempt to push back on these expectations at all.
And finally, turning to the dollar, it has suffered losses, especially since we've seen a stronger pound recently, given the improved narrative regarding Brexit. So what is the outlook for the greenback in the short term?
I think that it could continue to weaken. So effectively, I think that the rally in the pound still has a little bit more to go. So therefore, we might see a little more downside in the dollar. Now, having said that, I also think that the decline in the dollar might be halted next week when the Fed meets. I think they're going to cut rates, but the message is not going to be so dovish. I think the message will be, okay, we've cut rates 3 times now. Let's wait a little bit and see how the economy evolves, and then we'll decide if we're going to cut any more. So I think this is more hawkish, let's say, than the market is currently anticipating. So I think that we might see any decline in the dollar hold, and the reserve currency recover a little bit after next week's Fed meeting.
Marius, thank you for joining me today, and thank you for watching us at XM.com.